Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Hey, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to Stop the Idiot. I am the huge one, aka the idiot, Dave Koco from DAVEKOCO.com, and this is my tag team partner forming the Idiot Express, Boom Boom from KocoSports.net, KocoSports.net. And we have a question from the internet. It is from Mr. Retro. You're starting a wrestling promotion, and you can have two wrestlers from WWE, TNA, AEW, New Japan, ROH. He goes on to say it's like the NHL expansion team. You can just take off any two wrestlers you want from the roster, and that company will be fine with giving them up. You know? I think so. You know, just come by and be like, I want your two best wrestlers that would fit my system. And I think Vince and, Ghetto and, the Cons, I think they're on board. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, makes sense. Perfect. All right, so this is the Koco Sports stream. The companies, WWE, TNA, AEW, New Japan, ROH. They were really cool. They're really cool. They just let us walk in, take two guys, and leave. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. So let's break it down. Booms. I guess, we'll steal. Who do you want to steal from first?
Well, let's just start at the top. Let's steal from WWE. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Mr. Retro, for the question. And of course, if you would like to leave a question for Stump the Idiot, please put it down here in the comments section. We'll get to it as soon as we can. But I decided, you know what, I wanted to start with WWE. And by the way, this just is a really tough question because you really start looking at the rosters and you start thinking, well, am I going to do short term? Am I going to do long term? Am I going to try to go for that, just that quick buzz and try to get eyeballs on there and hope it lasts? Or am I going to do like the slow burn where I'm going to build these people up, and it's just like, but I only get two. And it's like, God, which two do I pick? And it's like, yeah, but I could pick this person, but I left this person out. It doesn't mean I hate that person, but, it's just a lot of stuff to think about. But it was a very, very tough question. So I'm going to start with WWE. The first person that I picked from WWE would be Cesaro.
That's a great pick. Why?
The reason I picked him because I know he's a solid worker, he's an in-ring veteran, and plus he's got mobility. He's a guy who never really got his due in WWE, at least not as of this recording has. He's a guy that arguably I believe could be WWE champion. Because I think wrestling wise he's that good. Promos maybe a little, but you know what? You can always, let him do the, talking in the ring, or get him a manager, or put him in a faction or something where they can talk for him if they have to. Or you're gonna have to, really, build up hype packages to kind of build him up for you. But I think he's a really good guy that would be, a credible guy that can work with people, and you could really build your company around. Do you want to go with your first? Or do you want me to go straight to my second?
Okay. I guess we can go back and forth, and at the end we'll read our lists for a recap.
Okay.
My first person, I visioned this just being my dream promotion. Like, I notice I've been a bit negative, and I don't want to be. So I'd be like, dude, I'll make my own damn company. So I didn't think of it business wise. I didn't think of it as age-wise. I thought of it like I'm just a greedy rich bastard and I want to see this type of wrestling. And I just want to free him. I got to free him. Nakamura. I have to believe somewhere inside he's still the king of strong style. I got to believe somewhere inside he still wants to be a great wrestler. So I would just steal Nakamura from WWE, and I don't even think WWE would notice.
All right. No, it's not a bad pick at all. Very good guy. Nakamura is amazing because I remember when I first started watching New Japan, a while back, he was in the main event. Or no, yeah, he was in the main event as a matter of fact, and he just came out, and I remember I didn't know anything about this guy, but as soon as he came out on that stage with all the theatrics, I automatically was just drawn to him, and I wanted to know more about him. Who he was, what he was all about, his move set, and just, he blew me away in the ring. So, yeah, I think that's a good pick.
All right, your second WWE pick.
My second pick might be considered a little controversial, but I don't care. I went with Io Shirai. I would
Okay.
I would make her the centerpiece of my women's division because she's still young. I mean, she's been like the centerpiece. She's been like the head, stardom. She is now the NXT Women's Champion. She can have a great match with anyone. She's absolutely, in my opinion, she's absolutely stunning. And I think she could be the face of the women's division. Just mix it up and have just great matches with people. So that's why I picked her as my number two pick from WWE.
Yeah, I didn't think of tag teams or women. I was just like, I want one-on-one top superstar grade. You went in this with the big brain, boom boom. I went in this with going, what do I want to see? Because like I just want to see great matches, and I went from WWE, just guys that should have had a big run and didn't. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I'm freeing them. Plus they fit my system. I'm kind of picturing my company being like New Japan meets Ring of Honor in their primes. And granted, some of these guys are up there in age, but at the same time, it's like, I think if you had these wrestlers come together and say, it's all out, we're just going to go all out all the time, one on one wrestling, you know what I mean? So I went with Samoa Joe, my digital husband, Samoa Joe. I just feel like this can't be the end of Samoa Joe's run. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
fading away in WWE. Like, that's what the fuck? This is how the story ends? I thought about AJ, but AJ, I think, has potential to go anywhere he wants. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know. I just like the company of like 10 amazing dream wrestlers and put on super cards and just be like, go out there and wow them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and Ring of Honor at one time kind of had that feel. New Japan one time had that kind of feel. But now I feel like fans were just fucking lying to each other. Oh yeah, this is fucking best. It's not the best. And that's what I would make in this company. And I would go up to Samoa Joe. It's a risk. His age, where he's at. But I'd just be like, dude, you deserve to fucking maybe not go out on top, but go out fighting. You know what I mean? You
Hmm.
wanna you wanna see it. And these two guys, Nakamura and Samoa Joe, they're just stuck in the mud that is known as WWE. So I free my friend Samoa Joe, or my digital husband. So there's my first two WWE guys. All right, boom boom. I picked Nakamura and Samoa Joe, and you picked.
All right. So we got Nakamura. So now we're going to go to AEW. And the first pick should be a no-brainer if
Yeah,
you've ever followed the show. For me, I'm picking Kenny Omega.
yeah. I mean, Kenny Omega's a lock. AEW was so hard that it was hard to pick the number two guy. Like number one was easy. And that's why, like, I was on Wrestling Ranted show, and they're like, "Oh my God, Kenny Omega wasn't booked like shit. Ooh, they wanted to be like the cleaner. Ooh, they just want to see the best Kenny Omega we can." And you can defend AEW all you fucking want, but have you seen the best Kenny Omega? And then if you're like, "Oh well, they don't have enough good opponents," then maybe he shouldn't be there. He should come to the KocoSports stream. Kenny Omega, number one by far. And then my number two, I picked two guys. I said, pick the one Boom Boom doesn't pick. So, Boom, I'm going to let you go first.
The second guy I picked from AEW was MJF.
Okay,
Just,
he's off my list.
yeah, so I mean, it's just he is just the good old-fashioned heel. He's amazing on the microphone. I mean, he's the kind of guy like if you put him on TV, like the Today Show or something like that. I mean, he owns that show. You put him on David Letterman. I mean, he'll just take over the show. And so I was like, dude, this is a lock. This guy would probably get eyeballs on my product because they'd probably want to know who the hell this obnoxious guy is, and I want to see him get his face kicked in.
I 100% believe in everything you said. I had MJF, but in my notes, I was like, just pick the opposite. So, I'm only not picking him because you picked them, and I kind of didn't want to have the same 1-2 punch. You know what I mean? But since I'm going to say MJF is not available, Pentagon Jr.
No,
So
okay.
I went
No, that's a
Pentagon
good one.
Jr.
That's a good pick. Great pick.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like my roster, besides a few athletes, are not being used to their full potential. So, like, bring the best wrestlers in and be like, go. You know what I mean? Don't fucking worry about storylines. Don't worry about contracts. Just fucking have 5-star wrestling all the time. Now, granted, that product is not for everyone. But I'd like to see a product like that. And there's moments where I believe New Japan and Ring of Honor had that. You know what I mean? Do you remember there was a time where, like, ROH couldn't miss a great match? New Japan couldn't miss a great match. I'm trying to recreate that. And now, granted, my product isn't for everyone, but it says you're starting a wrestling promotion. It doesn't say it has to be successful. It doesn't have to say it's got to compete with WWE. Just, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't think we could compete with WWE or AEW, but the niche market would effing love us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So I got Omega and Pentagon Jr., but MJF was very close to being there because I thought I could use him as for the entertainment value. But it makes my TNA picks a lot easier then.
All right. So now we're going to go to what? Impact?
Yeah, let's go to Impact. I keep calling it TNA. I know Boom Boom has corrected me 4,000 times off the air. He's like, it's not TNA, it's an Impact, right? I'm like, got it, Boom Boom. I won't make that mistake. On to TNA.
The first person I picked was Moose.
Oh, not bad. Why?
Because this guy is he's a pure athlete, former NFL player, extremely agile for someone his size. I mean, the guy is just a guy, really magnetic personality. Because, he's a big man. And I was like, that is who I'd want to put on a poster. Because it's just like, come check this guy. Maybe I could get some ESPN coverage on top of that if I promoted it well enough, or if I did something kind of like a Lawrence Taylor, Bam Bam Bigelow situation. I could probably get some mainstream press out of it. And he's improved significantly since his time in the ring. So that's why he was my first pick.
He was very close to being my first round pick. He's a great champ. He's very good at it. Can I go two? Because I don't know which one I want to start first. And I'll just let you do the third one. I would pick EC3, especially since I don't have MJF.
Mm-hmm.
EC3 has a chip on his shoulder, and he can play a character. And the other one I'd pick, it'd be Willie Mack. I think Willie Mack is beyond amazing. And in this scenario, this is KocoSports' dream. We're rebuilding it. I would just want the best wrestlers in the world. And I think he brings something to the table that the other guys don't. So there are my two. EC3, I was a little on the fence about EC3, but once you took MJF, and I was like, I don't want to, I don't want the same exact roster. You know what I mean? I think EC3 is a great wrestler that can take that character of MJF. It's not as good as MJF, but I think he blends in with my company that I'm building. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I want EC3. All right, your TNA guys.
My second TNA pick, or excuse me, Impact pick would be Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot too.
It's like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not 100% familiar with the entire Impact roster, but I am familiar with Eddie Edwards and his work, and he is just phenomenal talent. He's very solid in the ring. I don't think he's really had any bad matches. I mean, he's very dependable. That's the kind of guy you want to sign. And, again, kind of like with Cesaro, he'd be a great person to put people in there to work with. So that's why I went with Eddie Edwards, because to me, it's just like, I know it's kind of like, you know what you're getting, and it's not bad. And it's like, why kind of take a risk on something when you can get the sure thing? And I think Eddie Edwards is a sure thing, is an amazing talent.
Nice. New Japan, for me, I'm just going to say it because it's so obvious. And I think it might be obvious for you too. If Kenny Omega's on your roster, you have to go Ibushi Okada. You have to. I mean, Ibushi Okada, that's it. I mean, you get Okada, Ibushi, Omega, you get that with all these other great athletes. Fucking give all the stars. You're not going to rate these matches with stars. You're going to rate these matches with galaxies. Booms, you're two New
Well,
Japan guys.
I knew you were going to do that, so that's why I intentionally didn't pick them because again, I wanted things to be different. So I picked two other athletes that I think would be just as well. My first one was Shingo.
It's not a bad pick at all.
Shingo Takagi. I mean, the guy can be a heavyweight. The guy can wrestle cruiserweight style. I love that finishing maneuver made in Japan. My second pick, and this is going to be much to your chagrin, I would actually pick Jay White
All
because
right.
he is that type of heel that would drive fans crazy. Because you've got MJF as the underhanded, chicken shit heel, who talks, a lot of shit because he's got Wardlow, behind, who's got his back, and you can't really just come at him from the front, and he always just takes that shortcut, and he finally just, steals one. Jay White, I would book him as a different, as a heel, but it would just be like he does just enough to barely beat the good guy to, just get that win where he just, it's one of those, the good guy came so damn close, and Jay White just finally was just a hair better, and he beat the good guy. He was lucky to get out of there with his championship, or lucky to get out of there, with the win or advance in the tournament. And I think that could sell, and I think that could sell some tickets.
I just want to mention something about Shingo. I don't know when we're posting this. We got like 3 or 4 in the can. Japanese media is really picking up on Shingo winning the G1. Just something to put in your little cap. All right.
I would not be disappointed if that happened.
ROH. Now this is a weird situation because ROH looks so different. It just looks different. I'll let you go first. I don't know what your two were.
Okay, with Ring of Honor, they just now started new shows. They, as of this recording, they just started the Pure tournament. They're bringing back the Pure ROH Pure Championship. And so the first person I picked actually appeared in the first episode that I watched because it reminded me just how really good he was, and just how his varying style. With that, I think would be a great addition. I put in my first pick would be Jonathan Gresham.
What?
Jonathan Gresham. Yeah,
Who?
he is a technical guy. He's one half of the ROH Tag Team Champions with Jay Lethal. The
I
guy is like a surgeon in the ring. Very technical catch can wrestler. Uh, to me, it's entertaining to watch him wrestle at least that style. So I was like, dude, I'd like this guy in my company.
Straight up, boom boom. That wasn't a joke. I need to watch more Ring of Honor. Like, some people might think that was a thing. Like, who? I thought you meant the TNA commentator.
Oh God, oh no.
I don't know who he is. Say his name again. Thanos.
Jonathan Jonathan Gresham.
Okay. All right. Now I have
Yeah,
some homework to do. I
yeah,
feel like
I would
my
recommend you
ROH
check
knowledge is at
out.
an all-time low.
Since it just started this past week, I would recommend finding the latest edition of ROH TV and look up and watch the Pure tournament.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that,
It
man.
just started, so you haven't not missed anything.
Nice.
And
And that's a good way to jump in.
yeah, it's a good way to jump in. There's no fans there, but it's done so well that it doesn't really matter. And plus, with commercials cut out, you can get through it in about 45 minutes.
All right. Maybe we'll do a review. ROH review. I don't know. I always say I'm going to do reviews, and then the problem is I always say I'm going to do all of them, and then I watch WWE and quit. Like, I'll review everything. SummerSlam. Okay, I'm out. I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
say
do.
hello, you're like done.
What's that? Yeah.
It's like the time you said, okay, you're gonna watch WWE, but you're gonna have like a tap out button, and it's
Yeah, I
like
tapped out.
and then like the show starts, and not even 30 seconds in, you're like done.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. Um, I'll give my two guys, and I'm just gonna throw these two guys out there just because I'm so uneducated on the product, but I know these two guys are amazing. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
I didn't
Right.
do my research. Jeff Cobb and Kenny King.
Oh, it's not bad, not bad.
I you
I would
know
go back.
I don't know the ROH roster like I used to, but I know they can go.
All right. And then my last pick in ROH would be this was kind of a no-brainer because I've seen his work. He's insane, and I think he could get people talking. I chose Dragon Lee.
Oh, nice. That's not a bad pick at all.
Now, if he just hopefully my only wish is that I hope he doesn't kill himself in the ring, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's weird. Wrestling's at a weird spot. People are offended about insulting each other. People overanalyze the doctors or not care at all. I don't know. I just feel like wrestling's in a weird spot, especially when it comes to online audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling Ranted did a video on a piece of that puzzle. All right. So now in the comments, tell us who you would draft and tell us who had the better roster. I went with my dream. You know what I mean? I always say like, hey, I don't like any of the products. Let me make one awesome product. Boom Boom, I think, put a lot more thought into business. So I guess our rosters are the same but different. Um, Mine, I'll let Boom Boom. Boom Boom, can I go first or you want to go first?
Oh yeah, you go right ahead.
All right, mine, Nakamura, Samoa Joe from WWE. TNA, Willie Mack EC3. AEW, Omega, and Pentagon Jr. With a little bit of a shout out for MJF, but I had them both, and I was like, because I knew everyone was going to pick Omega. You know, you have to. I mean, anyone that doesn't pick Kenny Omega, it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. That's an interesting take. But I just said whatever one Boom Boom doesn't pick just to be different, and I'm happy with Pentagon Jr. Especially, and then it locks my EC3 pick up more because I was like, if I get MJF and EC3, you know what I mean? Okada, Bushi, you can't go wrong with that. And Jeff Cobb, Kenny King from ROH. So that's my I guess KocoSports dream team from this question. If I was starting a wrestling promotion, I could take two from these companies. That would be it. Booms. What's yours roster?
Okay, again, recapping here from WWE, I chose Cesaro and Io Shirai. From AEW, I chose Kenny Omega and MJF. From Impact, I chose Moose and Eddie Edwards. From New Japan, I chose Shingo Takagi and Jay White. And from Ring of Honor, I chose Dragon Lee and Jonathan Gresham.
All right. So I want to see your rosters down below. Feel free to ask questions. We are slowly building KocoSports back up. I still have maybe 6 more months to teach. And, I know it sounds weird because I really hate how people use the virus as an excuse not to do stuff. But I'm a part-time job doing 12 hours for safety. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I'm maybe a little bit more tired than usual, but I still having fun with Boom Boom. And, yeah. I don't know. That's my pet peeve. Like, oh, well, we didn't make enough PlayStation 5s because of the virus. Oh, fucking NBA 2K21, you can't fucking shoot because of the virus. You're like, none of this makes sense.
Funny story. I think there was a guy who had like a wrestling promotion and shot all this stuff, and then finally put it up online. It's like, sorry, it's not really complete. It's not really good. It's like because of the virus. And they're like, bro, you shot this shit 11 years ago.
Yeah.
No, literally, he had shot the footage 11 years ago and just now, like, put it up. And he's like, well, it wasn't good. It wasn't complete, because of the virus. And they're like, when you have stuff for over a decade and it's not good, that's on you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll start improving and making a comeback. But right now, you got to start somewhere and stump the idiots and, 5 stars or better. And maybe get into reviews, but if it's too bad, I just don't want to review it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty negative, so I don't want to see bad wrestling. Maybe I'll be there in the future, but working 12 hours a day, being a streamer, and then being like, oh yeah, I got to watch 6 hours of fucking WWE. It's just I'm not strong enough. Boom Boom. You know the the Incredibles. He's like, I'm just not strong enough. That's me right now as far as that goes.
Well, that's always you.
Booms. Back in the day, we used to review all the time and we were angry. Do you think we could ever go back to that lifestyle? Would you ever want to be that angry again?
No, because we were then we were younger, had more time, we were full of piss and vinegar, and now we're older, crankier, don't have as much time, and we're like, why bother?
Yeah. So why bother? Like, comment, subscribe. Booms, what else do you have to push?
Check us out, KocoSports.com, KOCOSports.com. It's your home for combat sports, where the world goes to kick ass, and most importantly, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. Be sure to like, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also visit DaveKoco.com. He's got merchandise, including his Loser in Japan t-shirts. He's also got links to his novels, Operation Freak Show, and coming out soon, Lucky the Orphan. You'll also find Dave Koco playing video games poorly on Twitch TV/KocoSports. He plays hockey, basketball, Madden, WWE, even Fall Guys, except for Slime Climb, because that's when Senpai has to take over for him because he can't make that one turn. And he's got a plethora of projects out there, so you can visit him, Twitch TV /KocoSports and DaveKoco.com. And also be sure to check out our podcast. Now, we've been doing, aside from Stump the Idiots, we're also doing a series called 5 Stars or Better. We're actually going over and reviewing all the matches ranked 5 stars or better by professional wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer. Right now, we're trucking our way through the 80s. We've got a lot of good stuff in the can. We've got early New Japan, early All Japan, Championship Wrestling from Florida, the UWF, All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff, and we're going to try to get through this. So, we've if you want to kind of see, it's actually a good way to look at the history of professional wrestling. Through just different lenses, and plus you can see that wrestling then really isn't that much different from wrestling now. I know there's like this big stigma that nowadays that nobody sells, people are a bunch of spot monkeys, there's no storytelling, and a lot of the criticisms that people are leveling today. You go back and you look at those wrestling matches that are now 30, 35 years old. You look at them and go, they're really not doing that much different stuff than what they're doing now. So maybe a lot of those complaints are just kind of pointless and moot.
Yeah, and also there's nostalgia. Plus, we're in a place where if you ever run a promotion or have to deal with pro wrestlers, whatever they aren't, they hate. If they're a heavyweight, they hate cruiserweights. If they're technical, they hate hardcore. If they're hardcore, they hate, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah. So I think a lot of that is just wrestlers and them repeating it over and over and over. That's why I've said this, and I made a separate video over it. Not many people seen it. I think before you review and before you do anything, you should know what's important to you. You should be like, this is what I think. Because that's one thing me and Boom Boom learned about Dave Meltzer. While we're watching this, we kind of get to know what Meltzer thinks is good wrestling. But I think a lot of people out there, especially the younger YouTubers, I don't want to say YouTubers because, I think there's plenty of platforms. But let's just say the younger internet infantry. I think sometimes they don't know what they want. And I'll throw Jim Cornette there too. I just think there's people out there that are like, everything fucking sucks. But what do you like? So I think we get in that trap. But I tell you what, I like my roster. I like it a lot.
Well, I like it too.
All right. Love you, Boom Boom. Love you, Internet Infantry. We're going to keep moving forward because that's how the internet is done. And with that, I am over. Hey, ba-dum, bum, bum.